Okay, the assembly for the universal joint, the UJ, this assumes that you've already finished the master model and you've saved the parts out from there. You may have had to do some individual parts to put into the folder. So to start the assembly, I'll start from scratch, but if I go to File and I go to New and I go to Assembly, you can actually open the part and create an assembly from that part. So just OK on there. And it's asking me to browse, but it's also brought up parts that I can look at. Now I know that this folder, because the last folder I looked at, won't work on my system because I did this one on a future system, which is what you're running at the moment. This is my home one I'm doing this on. That will become clear later on. So I'm going to go back to my other folder on here, go down to where I've got you guys, 26, and I've got UJ there, and I've got UJ parts, and in here I have all the parts that I require. Now please don't get scared that I've got so many parts there, because I also have IGES parts, which I'll talk to you about in weeks to come. It's just another format to save SolidWorks out in, so it can operate on other systems for that. So first I am going to go with the bracket, so I'm going to pick on that one there. But before I do that, just to make sure I am picking the right one, if I go to here and just go large icons, it's got all that through there. So I can actually pick up on any of those that I want to, but I'm just going to take that one and I'm going to open. Now this is the first part that I want to bring in. Now this part, as soon as I drop it, it cannot be moved. But to anchor it, I'm going to go onto the icon here. I'm going to make sure that that is highlighted so I can actually view the origins. So I just click away, I'm still free. If I just hover over that there, you notice that the bracket actually has its own origin, and I'm just going to hover over and you can see that origin jumps to that point there. Now this can be, yeah, okay, that's fine, because I did that on the university version, and it is instructional use. So I can move that round using the mouse key, so I can actually look at different orientations on there. I'm actually just going to change the background to plain white. I prefer to work on that. And I'm going to add in a little bit of shadow. Well, there is shadow there already, but I can't see any shadow on it. Anyway, we can come to that. Press the space bar. I just want to get that angle there, and I want to add in some other bits and pieces as well. So I can go to Insert Component, and if I go to Browse, well, I could go to Browse, but it's picked up other bits here. I want to bring in just about everything else that I require for it. I can bring it in one at a time, but I'm going to bring everything in that I know is there. So I need the crank arm. Hopefully that's no right one. No, I'm going to bring in that crank arm. I'm going to bring up the crank knob, that one, and if I forget stuff, yoke female. Let's see what happens when I bring that one in. That might demonstrate something for you. Spider, short pin, long pin. What else do I need? Just thinking out loud. Let's try crankshaft. Let's see. I may not have enough, but let's bring those in. Let's see if it does it. Okay, I can't do it that way. Okay, if I cancel that out. Okay, unless my computer is just having a little bit of a fit at the moment. It was having a bit of a fit. Okay, right, they're all there. So you up here on it, so you can see all these parts have just randomly come in. If I click that one there, it asks me, do I want the male or female? I want the male. Okay, and if I go back to Insert Components and I pick the same one again, because this is a derived part, I go to Open, and it asks me again. No, it doesn't. It should ask me if I want male or female. I'll just delete that bit on that one there. So I've got parts here I can start to build with. Although, yeah, let me just try and bring that female part in again. So Insert Component. and I'm gonna go, sure it's that one I just picked. Let's try that one. Open. Do that. It should ask me. No. Okay. Let's bring the female in. Insert component, but it might not have the hole in. That's the question. Yoke male demo. Let's go yoke female. That'll do me for now. Because I say them out as separate parts, but if it's a derived part, it can. That's okay. So I've got all these parts here now. I need to now start to assemble. So my first thing is I want to go to mate menu, which is up there with the paper clip on this. If I go to mate, it will change this side of my work area, and blue box already highlighting. It's asking me really what parts I want to mate. So just for now, I'm going to pick the outside. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to select the outside of that there. You see it's gone blue, and I'm going to highlight the inside of that there. And you notice that's gone in, and it said, do I want a concentric mate? So yes, I want that. Now what you'll notice, if I just pick that up, I can't go left or right, but I can go up and down. Now just for demonstration purposes, it's still in my mates menu, so I want to click on that surface there and click on that one there, and it goes up. Give it a clean tip because it says that it is a coincident mate. Okay, so I've got that there. So what happens here now, if I just pick that again, you notice it rotates. There's nothing actually fixing that at this time for that. So my next part I can put in is actually this part here. So again, I'm going to go, this can be troublesome, this one. I'm going to go for that outside one there, and I'm going to go for the outside of this here. And you notice that's gone up and it's a concentric mate again. So I just push that up the top there. Okay, and I've still got my mates window open. So it's kind of fallen into where I want it to be, but this time I'm going to pick the flat surface on the inside there, and I'm going to that flat surface there. And what you probably didn't notice is that that actually moved. I might accentuate that a bit more actually. So I'm just going to look at the last mate I put in. This is down here. That's a parallel mate, which you can see is highlighted. And what I'll do is I shall just delete that for a moment. Okay, so that's not there, so I can now move that there. But I'm just going to set this off at a slight angle. Now, just so you can see what happens when I actually pick the mate. So I'm going to pick that face there. Oh, sorry. I'm going to pick that face. There we go. I'm going to go around. I'm going to pick the inside of that face there. And you'll notice that rotated round. Perfect. So I now know that is in line. And I give that a green tick because it's a parallel mate. And you notice I can do that. And what you'll also notice that if I rotate that, everything else rotates around for it. So I need to join this to this. So still in the mates menu, I'm going to click the top surface of that there and zoom out and click the top surface up there. And there we go, we have two parts mated. Now obviously in real world times I would have a little bit of a tolerance here, probably 0.01 of a millimetre, so it doesn't actually scrape against that, but for purposes of this exercise you don't need to do that. Now what part am I going to put on next? Let's put this handle on here. So I've still got my mates part open, so I'm just going to drag that away a little bit, click that flat surface, and I'm going to click that flat surface there. So we're now parallel, but if you notice, we are actually around the kind of wrong way. Now let's see if this will do this or not. So I'm going to click the inside of that surface, and I'm going to click that there. And you notice nothing's kind of changed. If I go to click that, it hasn't really done it. And if I go down to the menu, the last one's parallel, so it hasn't actually achieved that. So I need to break that parallel one for the moment. So I've just deleted it. And what I'm going to do is just come out of this. So I'm just going to green tick to say that I've finished all my mates for now. And I'm going to go, which I haven't got up here at the moment, it's called a direct editing tab. So if I just right hand click on that there, go to my tab menu, and you've got a far more than I have. I haven't got direct editing. Let's go toolbars. No. Or have I got something up there? No. Assembly layout, sketch ink, render tools. No. I maybe I'll direct edit in another way, like move component. Yeah, move component there. There we go. So rotate component. This one I want to do, I just want to turn it around, and you notice it goes all a bit silly. That's because there is still an attachment there. Well, I need to break that attachment for it. I thought I had by deleting that, but no, I hadn't. So, quite easy to do that. If I right hand click over this part and I go up to the menu that's come up here, I go to View Mates. And you notice that everything else disappears, and then it highlights, well, it should highlight there. I've got coincidence, so it's those two there. I need to get rid of that. I don't quite understand why. I do understand. That's the last one I did on that. So I just need to go up to here and go to delete. And that breaks that now. I thought just by deleting it wouldn't. So if I go back to move components, I should say the direct editing actually is when you're in a 3D model like the master one, not in the actual assembly. So if I just go to rotate component, that's better. I can just rotate that around to a direction that I want to go in. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is because I know you'll come across this for it. So if I now go back to mate, and hopefully the menu will come up, there it goes, and I go to the inside of that there, and the inside of that there, I have now got a concentric relationship on there. And like we did with the last one, if I just click on that one there and that there, it moves around, fantastic. And this time, because there's no top, but I know that becomes flush with the surface, actually what I can do is just click on there, underside, and click on that face there. And that now is actually fixed to that, and I can start to turn that around. So easy one to do next is take the crank knob, click on the inside of that there, and then click on that inside one there. And you notice that's there. Let's just pull it up through that surface, and I can either now choose that underside or that side. I can choose that underside and make it flush with that bottom surface there. So there we go. I've completed the kind of top section, and I'm moving around for it. Now, what I need to do now is get this yoke in, and this gets a little bit more advanced for it. So if you notice, there's advanced tab here. So if I go up to click the advanced tab, and then what I'm looking for is width. So click on width. And what I'm going to do is the section. So if I click on that one there, and I click on the inside of that one there, and then I go down to the spider, and if I click on that side, notice it's jumped to go pink, and I go to the opposite side. You'll notice now, if I just give that a, that should give me a good tick. Yeah, okay, you'll notice now that if I move that up, even though it's not close to it, it is actually equidistance between those two spaces. So all I can do now, if I go onto here, and I pick the inside of that there, and the inside of that one there, it should move in, and it's not going to. Okay. Please select Mate Type for that. It should be, it's because I'm in Advanced Mates, I wasn't paying attention. So just press Escape, come out of that. Let's go to Standard Mates. Okay, go to Concentric, and there we go, it pops in. So again, just be wary. It will take a bit of practice. So you'll notice now, if I just go into there, that there is a gap, so it's equidistance between for it. So what I can do now, and what you'll also notice is that I can actually move that around on this. I'm going to put it into a kind of position that I should be for the female yoke to go in, but I'm going to change that round for a second. So I'm going to go to my move components, rotate components. I'm just going to pull that up to something relative to where I want it to be. So what I can do now is go back to Mate, if it fires up, and I'm going to pick that underside surface first, and I'm going to pick that surface there. So what's happened there is I made that parallel to that face because I know that's right. So what I want to do is probably now go to advanced mates. So click on there and do the same again. Click on there, Am I in advanced mates? I am. I didn't pick width, did I? There we go. Pick on that one there. I'll pick that one and I'll pick that one. And you notice that turned around. So now that is equidistant. You can just see that for it. So give that a tick. And what I can do now is put that one in there and that one in there. And I am still in advanced, done it again. Go to standard mate, go to concentric, and it didn't move. Okay, I'm going to just blank that out. So clear selection. And let's try again. So I want a concentric, I want that, and I want that there. And it's not going to like it. Sometimes you get this, it says I'd have to break a mate to do it, and it's probably this bottom one. So let's just see what it does. Add this mate to break it. And you heard all that going, and there's lots of errors come up, but that there has actually gone into the place it needs to go to. I'm going to close that for a minute, and I'll go back to show you how to correct those in a sec. So I can't move that around, so something is stopping that. So if I look down here, it's got that one there, which is saying it's obscuring it. Let me just come out of this and go to the history tree, and you'll notice I've got red mates here and there. So if I just go onto this one here and I go into that mates folder, I click onto that one there, and what's it doing? That's the width mate. I might have to go back and redo these. So that's a width mate there, and it's got a concentric one there. Okay, so these are the ones I just put in. So let's delete those. I might have to go back. So just right hand click, go to delete. Okay, and it's taken all those out. So I need to find something to do that. Although that seems to be working, but I need to view mates. Let's see if I've got to go back to my view mate. So I'm just going to right hand click on this one here, and I'm going to go to view mates and see what I come up with. And it's got there, it's got a width mate. I might have doubled up on this, that's maybe why. So that's fine, I'm happy with that. So just checking that I actually still had a mate there. And let's have a look, see what this one, it may be the base mate that was the wrong one. Let's just check view mates on there, and it's just those two. So the mate that I had had an issue with was the original parallel mate I had put down the bottom there, which was stopping it. But because these mates here within there and the concentric mate, it was kind of over defining the mate itself. But there we go. Now the pins, we should have two short pins, one long pin, and you notice here that these have been actually domed already. I kind of cheated, well I didn't cheat, that was done in the master model. So all I need to do now, go back to my mates menu, and if I click, let's just come out of there, remember the last thing I clicked to delete that. Let's just do that one and the inside of that one, and you notice now that that's gone in but it's sticking out, so I can move that in and out for there. But what I want to do is have that surface, okay, let's see if it does it. So that surface there, it's gone in, fantastic, and it's flush. Okay, so that pin is in place. Now because I've got a long pin, I now need to use the short pins. So if I click on that surface there, click on that one there, and you notice it has gone in there. So just give that green tick, and then I want that flush with that surface. There you go, and you'll notice I haven't actually sorted that one out there, but we can talk about that another time. And lastly, if I just come out of this, okay, I've got one other short pin to go in, so insert component, and it goes up there, and find the short pin. I've lost the short pin, there we go, there's a short pin. Let's do that one there, see what happens. Okay, that's come in, let's just drop it. Okay, and let's just go to Smart Fastener. The reason I'm getting that is because I have a fully paid up license for SolidWorks, so I use that for my own business. So let's just go to mate and do that side and do that side. Okay, now see that's gone in. Let's just pull that out. So it's gone out, pull it out. Oh, it's over there. It hasn't gone. Okay, so let's just go that surface there to that surface there. Is it not going to take that surface? No, it's mated to that point there. I need it to come through. So let's undo that. Let's just come out of there. So let's just give that across. Let's move this to that side. Let's do the same again. So let's go to mate. And let's go to that point there and that point there. Perfect. Okay, so there is the basis of, let's just come out of that, the basis of an assembled grinder. And the key is to pick that up and be able to rotate that around for you. Now you can, if you want, you can start to customize this to your own needs. There is something I need to show you that is a collision detection, which I will do another time. And there's lots of things you can look at up here. And again, what I've done in previous ones, I've actually gone through and I've altered these to make them more trendy. But this is the basics for it. If you get that far, and this is all I require for it. But if you want to have an experiment, you may get some extra marks within the portfolio if you've played around. And again, when I was talking about collision detection, you might want to just have a look at that there. Because on the actual drawings it's not there, but you'll find that when this rotates round, if I can get that round to probably about, I'm trying to think where that is, maybe I've done it, it's normally about, it's 1 point, yeah, just there. Don't know if I go into here, go to configure component, no. I will go through that with you anyway. It's not in motion study, or let's just put motion study on. No, that's for animating. There is a means to detect collision within the parts that you actually make. Right, I shall leave that for now, and I shall see you when I see you.